What's going on, my man? How you doing? It's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. Um, you know what, Josh? I'm gonna let you take the lead on the whole Crown basketball breakdown. I mean, I'll just follow you, man. Sometimes when you're in a partnership and there's a team, sometimes you need one person to carry the load. Just like there's times when Nate Amit was the best player and he was feeling it. You give him the ball, and let him go. There was times when Jacoby Gillespie was the guy. Josh, this is your time. I'll defer to you and follow your lead. I mean, it is basketball. Well, oh. Well, I mean, Ken Palm is breaking the game down. So, I mean, if they're breaking the game down and they think the game is important, then it should be important to us. Yeah. It's the Final Four, Josh. It doesn't matter if it's the NIT or not. It's the Final Four. Yeah, you heard some of the mock drafts a couple months ago regarding him and Colton Hood. But for me, I like to wait and see, okay, what's going to happen at the combine, what's going to happen at pro day. Because you could be mocked in the first or second round in December, November, but come time the pro day, the combine, you run a bad time, then you're going to slide. So I wanted to wait to see what times McCoy would run, how he would bounce back from the knee, how fast was Hood. His game film said he's fast, but let's put him on the clock and see. Well, I think both guys answered that question. Mm-hmm. No, he didn't play. Man, would have been great. He's smart. He's technically sound. The speed was a question because you just didn't know how fast it really was, but you saw him guarding fast guys. What he did yesterday was put all the questions to bed. High character. I think his ceiling is still high. I mean, he has been playing the position for a very, very long time. I mean, he played receiver in high school, and then he made the switch at Oregon State to corner, and then played it here at Tennessee. So there's a lot of room for him to grow. Yeah, I mean, I just hope all these guys get drafted as high as possible. I think Tennessee needs that. Jamal McCoy, a lot of folks wanted him to play, and they may feel a certain type of way because he performed well and didn't play. But I'm telling you, he's going to do more for Tennessee from this point forward than he did in the 1 year when he played here. So you need the same type of production from Brazel. You need all the guys to go to the NFL and have a successful career. I think one for sure. What do you think? I think for Tennessee, even if Jamal McCoy was healthy, they probably wouldn't go out and recruit Colton Hood. But it's okay for us to imagine. He's good enough for at least a game for sure. I mean, I think him out there allows the pass rush to be a lot better, and the pass rush was better from the year prior. There were some games where, especially the Mississippi State game, where the pass rush took over and kind of helped the offense in a lot of ways. But if McCoy was out there, I think his impact will be felt in each game. Tennessee would have won at least one more game. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good lineup in the secondary. You probably wouldn't have the staff that you have now if that would have played out. Hey man, everything happens for a reason, Josh. I think we are in a good spot. It would have been nice to take advantage of a softer SEC schedule than the one we have right now because it's only get harder. But you improved, I think, with your defensive staff, and then you needed to make a change there with your strength coach. But it comes with a harder schedule.
News came from Talia Goodman with On3 covering women's college basketball that Mia and Maya Paldo plan to enter the transfer portal. This would be just the latest players from last season announcing that they will enter the portal, and that makes several freshmen now, at least 4 from this past year's class that was so highly touted that plan to enter the transfer portal. There's been a staff change as well for Coach Kim Caldwell. But part of what we heard during the season, while it was not going well, was, hey, at least you have this young group of talented players to build around. The veterans have not led, but you can build around these freshmen. And that part of the conversation would now be removed, it looks like, with the report that the Paldo twins, one of whom was all freshman team in the SEC, will be moving on. I don't think this news is all that surprising, but of course it's notable.
No, it's not shocking at all, Josh. I mean, last year was a disaster. There was talks about many of these young ladies hitting the portal, leaving, and in a lot of cases it may be good for them and good for the team. I think the roster construction was not where it needed to be. And I think this gives Kim Caldwell opportunity to fix it. And for me, the most important player on the roster from last year is Civil. That's who I think is most important. I think she has tremendous upside. I think athletically, she can play in this system. She's going to develop a jump shot, and once she develops a jump shot, watch out, because she can slash, she can get to the basket, she can jump over defenders. I think she's the most important player on the roster to get to return. From a personnel standpoint, like I thought the Paldo twins were a little small. I think when you're that short in stature, you
a very disappointing season. The pressure is now on to build a roster that can compete. I would come in and lead the locker room and set the culture and everything else that we've talked about that needs to be done. So they have to find players to come in and do that. To this point, that hasn't been done successfully. It has to happen this offseason, but it's going to be a new roster, and it has to work immediately. So the pressure's on. I think that's obvious at this point for Kim Caldwell to be the coach beyond a third season.
The recruiting rankings, they matter, but they don't matter. They don't matter when you're trying to put together a team and you're trying to balance out strengths and weaknesses and have players that complement each other and players that fit under your system. Like, who cares if the player's a 5-star, but she can't shoot threes, and you have your system based on shooting threes and layups and being able to run and jump and press. Well, if they're not good at those things, they're not a 5-star in your system. So you remember the graphic that came out during the offseason about the number 1 portal class and the number 2 recruiting class. All that stuff doesn't matter. And hopefully the new assistant coach that came from Florida State can help Kim Caldwell. And maybe she doesn't need help, but this last season tells us she needed lots of help. But maybe what they can do, what they need to do better, is put this roster together that fits her system. You got to get some leaders. I thought Spencer, a transfer that came in her last year, Caldwell's first season, she was that leader for Caldwell. She was a point guard, and she played hard, and she can shoot the basketball. She had range. They severely missed her this season. They got to go find some players, but just this year, I just didn't think it was a fit.
Also, tell me if you disagree here, but the goal is not to get back to where they were during Kim Caldwell's first season. The goal is to get back to that point and then be a lot better. They were 8-8 in SEC play in her first year, but it was her first year. They went to the Sweet 16. They did some good things. They beat UConn. Obviously, that was a big win, but that's not what the goal is. The goal is not to be, hey, middle of the pack in the SEC. The goal is to be competing for championships.
That's the goal.
And that shouldn't change because this past year was so bad.
No, that's an athletic department goal across the board.
Right. So
It's
that is a huge task to build a completely new roster for the most part, not 100%, but close to it, and get that to a championship level, at least in terms of contention quickly. Because I mean, they're not going to be picked to win the SEC next year, but to be, let's say, top third of the league,
yeah, they need to be.
that's a big task for Kim Caldwell
I
this
mean,
offseason.
yeah, when you put the resources in, cool. And this may hurt somebody's feelings. I'm sorry. You have to build this program back without assuming that people are just going to fall over themselves because it's the Lady Vol brand. You can't assume that anymore. There are other brands that have emerged
Yeah.
that are stronger, that are better, they're winning. So all these ladies that are coming up, they look at Don Staley, they look at South Carolina as the standard, UConn as the standard, USC. They might have not won, but their best player Juju is hurt, but they're stacking up talent out there on the West Coast. So you got to build this thing like Pat Summitt was never here. You have
Mhm.
to build it that way. The reason why I say that is because for a long time, we ignored the issues, we ignored the cracks in the foundation with football for so long. Oh man, hey, who wouldn't want to come to Tennessee football? Who wouldn't want to play for Tennessee? Come on, man. Look at the prestige. Look what we did in the '90s. Look at this. Look at that. Come on, man. Who wouldn't want to come to Tennessee? And then people didn't come to Tennessee, and then you have to look at yourself in the mirror and go, all right, man, we might need to market ourselves a little bit differently here. You can't rest on prestige in our approach when we are building this thing back up and trying to do what we did in year one. And actually, you should be doing better than you did in year one with the resources that have.
865-656-9900. If you'd like to connect with us, we'll tell you about an important organization in East Back on Josh and Swain. Thanks for being with us every day. We are presented by Junk Be Gone, East Tennessee's junk removal specialists. We have more messages coming in the text box. We will open those back up. Braden Gall of 440 Sports at 1 o'clock and Austin Price of VolQuest at 1:15. We'll talk some college football, some Tennessee football with them in the first half of next hour. We'll talk a little golf, and we'll talk about how you can help a very important organization here in a couple of weeks. Here, this segment. Cancer Support Community East Tennessee, Lori Frill and Nathan Woods are here in studio to tell you about a great event coming up in 2 weeks from tomorrow. April's here. Can't believe it. But Lori, Nathan, great to see both of you. Thanks for being in studio with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So first of all, before we talk about what's going on at Top Golf, great place. I'm so glad we have it here and have for the last few years now in Knoxville to support an organization that supports so many people. Lori, tell us about your involvement in what Cancer Support Community East Tennessee does.
So we are a professionally led a nonprofit that's got programs for individuals with cancer, for the patient as well as their loved ones. And we want to offer different types of activities to help them while they're in their process of going through treatment to kind of complement the medical care they're receiving. So we have like gentle exercise, art, nutrition. We also have support groups for family and for patient. And we have also individual sessions, but everything that we offer, again, all are professionally led, are at no cost, no charge to the patient, family members, caregivers.
Yeah, patients and family members.
Yes, which a lot of times it's interesting. We'll have a support group only for family members, as well as one only for patients. And that's an opportunity for them to really share what they're feeling, maybe their fears or concerns. And it's just, again, professionally led. And this opportunity for them to be with other family members or other patients who kind of are experiencing those same feelings.
You can find info online, cancersupportet.org, cancersupportet.org for Cancer Support Community East Tennessee. Nathan, what led to you being involved with Cancer Support Community?
That's a great question. I've really seeing it growing up my entire life. Unfortunately, personally, never experienced this, but seeing loved ones and those that we love, and really led us to how can we make a difference? And the fact that it's free. There are zero barriers, no matter where you are in East Tennessee, having that impact. Of course, we're in Bearden off Baum Drive, but taking care of caregivers and those experiencing this in various means, whether in person or virtually.
Yeah, it's a beautiful setup you have there on Baum Drive in terms of the operation and what you have there available for anybody that comes in needing support.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We call it our forever home, and we want it to feel like a home. We don't want it to look like a clinical environment. And many people are surprised when they see it, but we've got a huge multi-purpose room where we can do some concerts and again, do all our exercise programs. And we've got a huge kitchen that allows us to, as Nathan said, do things virtually where we can have a nutritionist come and may have 20 people in person, but then we've got maybe 20 people online. And it's just an opportunity for them to get together, but for us to uplift and strengthen them during that time, and let them learn more, talk more, and just feel in a safe environment. And like we say, a community. It's all in our name.
So if you're going to support those in need, you need a little support to make it happen. So Nathan, in 2 weeks, a fundraiser is going to happen at Topgolf.
Yes, sir. 2 weeks, April 16th. That's Masters Week for any golf fans. And I like to say if you enjoy golf and you highly dislike cancer, you will enjoy this event. And so Topgolf has been gracious, to your point, having it just down the road. But it's April 16th from 2 to 5. We'll have 6-person teams and contests across the board, whether it's some longest drive options, some closest to the pins, and then, of course, the team-by-team option, who can score the most points. In Top Golf world, points are good. In golf world,
right.
Lower is better. We'll have a number of folks. We have spectators, and then, of course, food, drink, different prizes, and a really good time that afternoon. Masters will be on the TV, so don't worry about that.
That's a good point as well. You can feel good about yourself as a golfer because when you go out on the course, when those numbers go up, that doesn't make you feel so good. But when you get the points rising at Top Golf, you actually feel a little bit better about your game.
Yeah, sometimes if you've never played golf, you may actually be better at Top Golf than you are than those professional golfers or lifelong golfers. But it does a great job of whether you are an experienced golfer or never played, there's options for you. So we've worked hard to make sure everybody has a good time that afternoon.
So, Laura, you can reserve a bay. This is probably a great idea. Hey, if you want to get a team together at your office, go out to Top Golf, have a great time, help a great cause at the same time. That's what we're looking at. But they can get in touch with you. They can go ahead and reserve a bay to get ready for. It's April 16th. So coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow, April 16th from 2 until 5 at Top Golf Knoxville on Outlet Drive. You can reserve a bay, take advantage. There'll be food, beverages, the tournament play, prizes, and you'll have a good time to help a great cause.
Exactly. It's a win-win. And it's a great team building. Like you said, if your office, everybody gets together, great team building. It's also an opportunity for people to entertain clients, and they'll get to learn about us, but they're really enjoying that time together, which is, and then supporting our programs. Again, all are offered at no charge. So this is one opportunity where we can raise that money to make that possible.
So if they want to reserve a bay, if anybody listening wants to do so, what's the best way? Call, email.
If they could call the cancer support community at 865-546-4661, and then we'll get them registered. They can also email me, lfriel, Friel, at cancersupportet.org, or go to our website.
We will we'll tweet out this information as well. So at Josh and Swain, we'll pin it there at the top so you can check it out. But the number again, 865-546-4661. It is coming up in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tomorrow, April 16th at Top Golf to benefit the cancer support community, East Tennessee, 2 to 5, April 16th. Reserve a bay, have fun, and help a very important organization. What is there a game that's most popular you find at Top Golf? Is it Angry Birds? Does that get the most talk, especially if you bring the family out? I know kids love to play Angry Birds, but I think the adults do too.
That's a great point. And we have kids, we have across the board that show up, but Angry Birds for sure is a good warm up. Generally, the less real golf you play, the better you are at Angry Birds. Maybe
that's why I did
really good.
Okay with it.
Yeah. But we'll have some leisure gameplay, and then really the event begins at 3 for about an hour and a half, and then some awards at the very end.
CancerSupportET.org is the website to learn about the organization and how you can support them anytime. And if you would like to reserve a bay and help and have fun at the same time at Top Golf in 2 weeks, 865-546-4661. Laura, did we miss anything or anything you want to add to the conversation about either the organization, the event, either one?
I just appreciate you having us on here. And I will also note, we also have a wig room. And that we served 196 people last year just coming to get wigs. Again, no charge, all shapes, all colors. We also have scarves, head wraps, knit caps. So just stop by and see us at 6204 Baum Drive. Learn more about us and how we can help you.
They're on Baum Drive, and again, helping cancer patients as well as loved ones, family members, those who have unfortunately lost someone. You are there for them.
We are. And we've heard from so many people. One member in particular said that when she walked through the doors, she just felt at peace, and that we were kind of a lifeline for her. So we want to be that we know this is a challenging time for the patient and family members, and we want to have these opportunities to support them.
CancerSupportET.org is the website for Cancer Support Community, East Tennessee. Lori Friel and Nathan Woods, thank you for stopping by. Thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
We'll continue the conversation. We'll invite you to be part of it at 865-656-9900. Jason Swain, a part of the show, VFL, former Tennessee wide receiver. I'm Josh Ward. We're presented by Junk Be Gone as we continue on Josh and Swain. by Junk Begon, 865-9900. One coming up in hour number 2, break all 440 Sports and Austin Price of VolQuest talking Tennessee, SEC, and college football. Swain, so far in this hour, we've talked about a great day yesterday for Jermon McCoy appearing to lock down a first-round spot, and I think there's a good chance he could be top half of the first round. We'll see how that plays out 3 weeks from tomorrow with the start of the NFL draft. We can get some updated draft thoughts from Braden with the Titans having a top 5 pick as well. But the pro day discussion coming out of yesterday, a scrimmage tomorrow for Tennessee football, and in between the Paldo twins, the latest 2 players to enter the transfer portal or let their intentions be known because it hasn't opened yet, but their plan to enter the transfer portal, now the 5th and 6th players from Ken Caldwell's roster this past season to do so.
I think yesterday was a good day for Tennessee football. I think it's easy just to say it's a great day for Jermon McCoy, but it's a good day for Tennessee football. Jermon McCoy getting hurt in the offseason and not being able to play while getting paid a significant amount of money, it was an awkward situation. And I thought it was handled the right way, at least on the surface. Publicly, I haven't heard anything. Haven't heard anything behind the scenes either that would suggest it wasn't handled right. And so also helping him get to this point, being able to train, being able to heal, rehab. I mean, you want Jermon McCoy to rep that Power T and to have great feelings about his school when he goes on to the NFL. But it's bigger than Jermon McCoy. I mean, there was former players at Pro Day.
Yeah.
Former players who are in the NFL at Pro Day. It was a celebration. I mean, it's a time where, you past and present kind of get together, support the guys who are competing at Pro Day and going through the biggest job interview of their lives. It's a really proud moment for the coaches to watch those players reach for their goals and dreams. And when they do well, man, it makes Heupel and the company feel great, man, because they have had a hand, will have a hand in these guys being able to get drafted. So it's a huge day, man. It's a special day for Tennessee football. Just not Jermon McCoy, just not Chris Brazel, Joey Aguilar, or Colton Hood. It was a big day for Tennessee football altogether.
Hey, I know people always ask you, hey, what do you think about the wide receivers? And you take pride when the receivers have success. Your guy, Jonathan Wade, does he get all fired up when the defensive backs, especially at corner, have the success somebody like Jermon McCoy did yesterday or Colton Hood, what he did this past season?
He's the same as me, but opposite. Same as me, but with DBs as I am with receivers. So he's proud of them. I told you a story about how he was here, not this past fall camp, but the one before that, and he was down on the field, and I was in the stands in shade watching practice. I get to see it a lot, so he doesn't get to see it a lot. So he was eating it all up and embracing the environment, everything. So he was down on the field level. I was chilling in the shade watching. And the defense was eating our lunch. DBs was eating our lunch. And he was texting me. He was looking up at me. The trash talk never stops.
That's great.
It never stops between him and me. So, yeah, man, he takes pride in the DBs just like I take pride in the wide receivers. And it's hard to talk about when they don't play well. So, last summer was difficult because coming off the 24 season, the receivers didn't necessarily do the best job. But I'm proud of how they bounced back this year, and we got some serious momentum going into 2026.
By the way, we are entering shade season. We're hitting the 80s this week, Swain. Sun's out, and it's only going to get hotter. So one of my favorite memories of covering Tennessee football practices would be Mike Wilson with the umbrella on a beautiful sunny day, just making sure the shade stayed with him.
Umbrella
on a sunny, hot day, very underrated.
Nah. It got to be like 90s. He got to be like up there for me to pull out the umbrella.
It might have been that. I don't recall the specifics. Somebody else would, but this may have been August. You know how it can be in August.
Well, I
but,
mean, August, I understand.
yeah, 80 in late March, early April, that's a bit much. But once we start to dive into summer months, if it's fall camp time, yeah, break out the umbrella, take the jokes, and appreciate the shade. That's what I would do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'll be in the shade tomorrow. That's for sure.
Yeah, I used to tell some pretty good umbrella jokes, but they would always end up going over people's heads.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew you setting it up was part of the joke. I just knew it. I knew it.
What'd you think of that one?
I'm actually impressed because I haven't heard that one come off the dome. Like you have a few jokes, I guess, that's in a database that you have ripped
That's where
off
you gotta
in
store 'em.
2 or
Yeah.
3 years. I haven't heard that one before, so that's pretty impressive that you were able to tell that just off the rip.
Well, last time I told it, people threw shade right back at me. We'll come back. We have 2 hours to go. 865-656-9900. If you'd like to be part of the show, we appreciate the interaction. We'll talk more football when we come back. Jason Swain's here, VFL, former Tennessee wide receiver. I'm Josh Ward on Josh and Swain. This is Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us as we begin hour number 2. Jason Swain's here, VFL, former Tennessee wide receiver. I'm Josh Ward. Swain, Mike made a good point in the text box. I should be careful with making overhead jokes as there's a lot of heightism that takes place on this show, so I need to walk carefully there. It's a good point by Mike.
Well, you don't have a problem walking carefully because you're a little bit closer to the ground than everybody else.
There it is. There it is. We go to the Stanley Fencing and Gates hotline. We say hello to Braden Gall, 440 Sports. He's got good height. I'm sure wow. Yeah, you wouldn't stump that low as you have to do in this case. Braden, good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah. 6'1", 225. First time, long time. No. Look, I didn't realize heightism was a thing. I know ageism is a thing, which is comical because age is the only thing that's undefeated. Time strangely has yet to lose to humans ever. But heightism, I didn't know that was a thing because it's tougher on airplanes, right? If you're taller.
Yeah, there are actually advantages to the position that I'm in. But yeah, I find Swain, this is more of an athletics-related program in most subjects. In that case, it's advantageous in a lot of cases. We're seeing that with the NCAA tournament at times as well. But yeah, Swain, I think is a rabid heightist. I would say that confidently.
He's a rabid anti-shortness.
That's what he is.
It's funny. I have two daughters who, proud to say, both won their soccer tournaments this weekend, and one of them is a center back who is like in the 92nd percentile for 9-year-olds, and one of them is a striker who's in the 13th percentile for 7 and 8-year-olds. And I'm trying to teach my little one, and I think she's starting to figure it out. On a soccer field, there's some advantages to being small. You just got to figure out how to use them. And she's squeezing between defenders and, learning how to learn when she gets bumped off the ball, you can go down and get the foul. So she's starting to see that there's some advantages. Otherwise, she's just very upset that her sister is taller than her. So maybe she's an 8. Maybe she's a heightist as well.
Might end up being that. You got to watch out. Zakai Ziegler knew how to play his game, especially on the defensive end, to his advantage with his size. He was not the biggest guy out there ever, but he was often the most impactful. We're now 3 weeks away. What are you figuring out? We've had coaches meetings in the NFL. What are you figuring out with the Titans, or maybe big picture if you zoom out how that early part of the first round is going to play out?
Yeah. Can you be an armist or a lengthist? Because Ruben Bain's arm size and length is sort of the concern.
Yeah.
There's also other things that have yet to come out as it pertains to that prospect in the top 10. Unsure what that means moving forward. Some teams are going to have the rest of the top 10. I don't think Ty Simpson is even in this conversation. I think he will move up boards, meaning not grade out better, but as people get more and more desperate for players to fall to them, that's what happens is quarterbacks end up getting picked earlier. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Simpson is, somebody's trying to trade up into the late 10s, early teens to get him potentially, but I don't think he's a factor in the top 5. I think it's, do the Cardinals take David Bailey? Do the Cardinals want Jeremiah Love? Do they want Carnell Tate, a receiver? I don't think any of the offensive linemen are frankly good enough to be taken at that slot. So the question is sort of what does Arizona do? And I think that will dictate a lot of what the Titans do. If Bailey is the pick, I think it means they have to decide between position of need, Ruben Bain potentially, or best player available, which is Jeremiah Love and Sonny Styles. And both, two players that don't play premium positions, but Mike Borgonzi and the Titans general manager at owners meetings Monday and Tuesday just hammered the phrase best football player, best player available 6 times in his answers. So I don't know how you make the case that Ruben Bain is a better football prospect than Jeremiah Love or Sonny Styles. He may be a better fit for your team or your needs or premium position. But it's hard for me to believe a general manager standing at the podium saying Ruben Bain is a better football prospect than Sonny Styles and Jeremiah Love. That's hard to believe. So I think Arizona, and then how do they evaluate those two players at the top, Love and Styles? I think that's the key.
Do you sense maybe the Titans being active during the draft, maybe trying to trade up, trade down? How do you kind of see the Titans moving during the NFL draft?
I think 35, they picked 35th very early in the second round, obviously. I think moving down from that spot and moving up from that spot are both very real possibilities. If you were to take Jeremiah Love hypothetically with the fourth pick and a really high quality edge rusher is still sitting there at 28, 29, 30, maybe you come back into the first round a couple spots to get him. If you could take it, it doesn't matter who you take it for. You could see how the board falls to you. I think trading back from 35 to add a top 100 pick is a very real possibility. I think trading back from 66 for a few slots is also a very real possibility. I actually think for a draft that's not overly loaded with top flight talent, I actually think that the draft sets up well for the Titans' needs. I think there's really good corners and receivers that'll be available between 35 and 66. I think the question is, can you create enough value at 4 to convince someone to come get something? And is that Jeremiah Love? Is that a potentially trying to convince someone that Ty Simpson is the answer? Like, how do you convince someone to come up to 4? And I don't know if that's, Washington at 7, New Orleans at 8, Kansas City at 9. I don't know if that's the range. Do the Rams really love Ty Simpson as the heir apparent? They've got 2 first-round picks, could trade up to get a player like that. So you just have to kind of figure out, like, where do you want to move back to? I wouldn't want to drop past 10 or 11. I think you want to get somebody in that top 10. That's, the 3 top receivers. That's Mansour Delane. That's potentially Jermod McCoy. That's the 3 top pass rushers. That's Love and Styles and Caleb Downs. Like, I don't think you want to fall outside of that group. So if in a perfect world, you move back to like 8, still get the exact player you take it for, and add a pick in the 70s or 80s or even earlier than that. So I think that's the key, is how do you create value at 4?
Braden Gall, 440 Sports. It is an active time. I'm sure there is a ton of draft focus for the Titans. What else are you covering right now? What can people check out at 440 Sports?
Yeah, Predators are in the wild card right now. So the Gold Standard, we're live on Wednesday. So we'll be going up here in about 45 minutes or so. But the Predators are in the playoffs right now. Even though they lost 3 straight, they've got an enormous week. They play every team behind them basically over the next 2 weeks. And so it's going to be a mad dash to the final playoff spot. But they're in the lead right now. So they've got a chance to actually make the playoffs, which is a big deal. Obviously, the international window is closed now that Team USA looked real ugly against Belgium and Portugal. But Nashville SC is the best team in North America right now. They're the best club in North America. And we've got you covered there with the Club and Country podcast out today. You can check that out. And all your Titans needs, of course, as well. A football show, hot read podcast, you name it, we got you covered. So come by and check us out. Predators, Nashville SC, Titans, SEC football. Please come listen to our products, 440 Sports YouTube page, socials, and podcast app of choice.
440 Sports, go check it out, subscribe, so it's always there for you. Braden, we appreciate the time he's here with us each week. Thank you, Braden. We'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it, guys.
Braden Gall, 440 Sports, joining us right here on the Stanley Fencing and Gates hotline, 865-656-9900. Andrew asked for a little credit here. I'll give it to him. Said, I wouldn't want to rain on your parade following the shady umbrella joke. So, Andrew, appreciate you. We appreciate the interaction, and we always look forward to the time with Austin Price. He'll tell you about what's going on with Tennessee football, what he hears ahead of the scrimmage coming up tomorrow and a little more than a week to go until the orange and white game. Austin Price joins us next on Josh and Swain. This is Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us. As we continue today's show presented by Junk Begone, we get to go back to the Stanley Fencing and Gates Hotline. We are excited to welcome to the show Austin Price, who covers Tennessee football for VolQuest.com. He joins us every week thanks to Colossal Productions spring events, watch parties, anything that you're looking to go to another level. Get the mobile LED screen set up from Colossal Productions. They're mobile. They bring them to you, colossalproductions.com. Austin, thanks for the time as always. Scrimmage late last week. They have another one tomorrow. What have you heard in recent days, and what are you looking to hear tomorrow with Tennessee getting back out there in the morning with another spring scrimmage?
Just trying to build off what they did last week, right? If you're George McIntyre, you're trying to clean up a few things. If you're Faison Brandon, you're trying to build off what you did and clean up a few of the small minor mistakes that he made last Thursday, Josh. And this is a football team that, is right in the middle of their defensive install. And talking to a lot of people, they're ahead of the pace they were at a year ago at Penn State when they were doing a similar install there with Jim Knowles. A lot of that thanks to having a member of each, level of the defense, knowing the defense from last year at Penn State, whether it be on the defensive line with Gillum, Chaz Coleman in the middle, DeJuan Lane in the back. All that helps. More staff members brought along that know the defense. I think you just want to continue to progress in the right direction if you're Josh Heupel on offense and Knowles on defense.
You did mention, George McIntyre wanting to, come out and clean some things up from the first scrimmage. I thought Faison did a really good job in his first scrimmage in some situations there. Made some good throws as well. Outside the quarterback position, is there another player that needs to have a bounce back type of scrimmage in scrimmage number 2 from the spring?
I would go with Travis Smith, Rodarius Jackson. Both had a couple of untimely drops last week. But I mean, all those things are easily to clean up. I mean, Again, as Kelsey Pope said, a year ago people were making a big deal because the guy dropped the ball, and during the open media portion, they hit social media, and all Tennessee did was go out and have almost 3 1,000-yard receivers last year. So, I mean, all that stuff's easily fixable. It's spring. This is the first scrimmage of spring. I don't make too much of it one way or the other, especially if it was to the negative, because you have so much time between now and the 1st of September. If it's to the positive, you still can't put too much weight in it, but you can build on it and try to, as Hubs would say, stack days or stack performances, stack practices of quality. And I know that's what some of the guys are wanting to do. As far as who needs, to really kind of have a nice day tomorrow, I think if you're any of the younger players like Marion Dye, who had a nice day last week, continue to do it again. See it happen again. Receivers, running backs, DeJuan Morris, continue to perform well. Continue to build upon what you've done. I think this team, besides the transfers, I think one of the keys outside of quarterback, that's to me common sense, is that sophomore class. The Marion Dyes, Jaden Perlotti, Jaden Harmon, Isaiah Campbell, Ethan Utley, Rodarius Jackson, Travis Smith, DeJuan Morris, Desan Brame. That group to me can really be what catapults Tennessee this fall.
Is there a transfer? I know you mentioned young players here and second-year players there, but is there a transfer that's kind of stood out to you that you've heard have done a really good job, getting used to everything and standing out?
Javen Gordon's had a nice start to spring, and then on the defensive side of the ball, Xavier Gillum has flashed a lot. The word or name that's been tossed around to me is Omar Norman a lot, as far as how twitchy he is inside. He's not an overly big defensive tackle, but is a guy that can play inside, but is also quick enough to make the lives of interior offensive linemen really, really difficult. And so I think he's had a nice start to his Tennessee first spring here in Knoxville.
Whew, that's big praise.
That is. We're talking to Austin Price, VolQuest.com. He joins us thanks to Colossal Productions. So Tennessee football getting ready for another scrimmage tomorrow. Austin, what can you tell us about Tennessee's latest recruiting commitment this past weekend from one of the state's top players out of Brentwood Academy?
Yeah, a couple commits over the last week since we last talked. Jaden Butler safety out of Haywood, and then as you just referenced, Keyshawn Bowman, wide receiver out of Brentwood Academy. Keyshawn's a really fluid player, can run, high points the ball extremely well. Credit Kelsey Pope there. He committed to Oregon about a year ago or so, and Kelsey never flinched. He opened things back up. He's been rumored to Vandy, rumored to Miami in different points and times over the last few months. Kelsey never flinched. The growth of Kelsey Pope as a coach and as a recruiter continues to impress me. Just how much he just grasps it all. Like, he understands all the nuances that come with coaching, recruiting. I think he continues to get better. I think the sky's the limit for him. I think he's Tennessee's best recruiter currently. I do think Anthony Poindexter can give him a run for his money on the defensive side for best recruiter on staff. But I think he just continues to do a really nice job, and he was pivotal in landing Keyshawn Bowman. Bowman's best relationship out of any of the coaches recruiting him was with Kelsey Pope. And, and taping that interview with him this weekend, Keyshawn's mom was in tears. She was really she's like, I've been wanting this for the longest time. She wanted him at Tennessee. She's excited. Again, I'm sure other coaches and other schools will continue to call, and I'm sure at some point it might get hairy. But, like, if anybody could take his commitment, land him, and keep him for that amount of time between now and December, I do think it's Kelsey Pope.
Yeah,
what's next that you're paying attention to on the recruiting front for Tennessee?
Well, I think Miles Brown and Asa Barnes at Martin Westview, they make a lot of sense. Tennessee got Jarrell Chandler back over again yesterday. That's Tennessee and Clemson right now for Jarrell Chandler. Ole Miss is certainly trying to get in the mix. Miami's trying to get in the mix for him, the Halls product. My question, when does Malik Howard come off the board one way or the other? That one, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Miami, Bama's still in there a little bit. So I don't know if anybody's super, super close. I do think a couple more could come off the board since we are now in April, but later this month. And I would be looking at the Martin Westview duo if that's the case. But, yeah, I mean, Tennessee's positioned themselves pretty well with, a handful of top guys, especially in-state guys.
AP, you've gotten a chance to talk to some of the new staff members, whether it's strength coach or defensive guys. Tennessee's put out several video clips of some of the defensive staff members. Who's impressed you with? Maybe you've heard some things about how they coach, their coaching style, but you were more impressed when you saw them in person. Who fits that description?
I mean, Owens is, the new strength coach, Derek Owens, is very impressive. Love what, his mentality, loves what he brings. I think, and talking to a lot of the players, they're like, man, he's strict, but we needed this. They're embracing it. As far as on the field coaches, I really am impressed by Poindexter and Jim Knowles. I think Jim, as Andrew Jackson says, what you see is you think he's like kind of old and crusty, but like what the kids see is a guy who, has got a bit of a big heart. He loves to teach. He loves the kids to learn. He enjoys seeing them embrace it and take it all in. And I think he just enjoys the teaching part of all this. So, again, I think Tennessee's done a nice job of improving the staff overall. And I know there's a lot of hope, a lot of optimism about this defense heading into this fall. And they're really just getting started, Jason, right? I mean, they're not anywhere close to what they can be, but I think that's a good sign. I've talked to a lot of high school coaches that have been over for practices for the coaches clinic and just stopping by, and they all to a man talk about like just how much more they're like Tennessee just looks so much more confident, competent, just more put together on defense than they were a year ago. It just feels like there's a purpose there, and I just thought that's interesting because it's not like I've been like, hey, like what do you thought about the defense? I'm like, hey, what have you seen? What have you thought? And they all these high school coaches keep just bringing up the same stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, they're obviously seeing something because they're not talking to one another. It's not like they're sitting around the pod going, hey, let's go over the talking point. They're all just, just kind of coming up with the same thought process. And, I think that's that's certainly a positive.
Austin Price, VolQuest.com, is covering what's happening with Tennessee football every single day. Austin, out the door. The men's basketball season came to an end this past Sunday. What do you hear about what Rick Barnes will try to get done, how aggressive they might be in trying to build the roster for next season? They've already had a player come in as a grad transfer who's able to visit in Tyler Lundblade. But what do you hear about Rick Barnes trying to build the roster for next year?
Yeah, Lundblade's still on campus. We'll have his visit wrap up over the next handful of hours, and seems like Tennessee's trending well there for the Belmont shooter. Tennessee needs to add a point guard. They need to add shooters, people that can put it in the hole. I think in a perfect world, they'd love to add a point guard, a 2 guard, a 3 guard, and then a rim protector that can play in the post. And so the key, though, is I don't think that it's dead set on, a 1, 2, 3, and a 5. I think ultimately if they could, they want people that can score. And if the 3 isn't a good shooter, not sure they'll take him. They want people that can make shots. And, that's the goal, I think, in talking to people, is they want people that can put it in the hole. That's no different than what, Kim Caldwell's trying to find with the Lady Vols. Got to find shooters. In this day and age, you've got to find people that can knock down open shots. You look at how Michigan beat Tennessee. It didn't matter if it was point guard, small forward. They were all knocking down shots. And that goes a long way. So again, Tennessee's, established themselves under Rick Barnes and done a nice job with 3 Elite Eight appearances in a row. How do they take the next step? I think it's just about, finding someone who can be the floor general for Rick Barnes. That's what is required. Gillespie stepped in for Sakai Ziegler, did a fantastic job this year. Got to find somebody else that can do it. And then people that can score the basketball, people that can knock down open shots. Tennessee just did not make up enough open shots against Michigan early in the first half, and Michigan was making everything, and it was a freight train going the other direction.
What was that?
VolQuest.com. You can see the work from Austin, his colleagues, with the scrimmage tomorrow, with recruiting never stopping, transfer portal activity, and activity with both the men's and women's basketball teams. Baseball. There's a lot happening with Tennessee. They're covering VolQuest.com, and he joins us each week thanks to Colossal Productions. Hey, Austin, thank you for the time as always, and we will talk to you again next week.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
It'll be orange and white game week next week for Tennessee. I mentioned Colossal Productions. You can see the massive mobile LED screens that I'm talking about when you go to colossalproductions.com. They have the information you need. They can make your next event stand out in a major way. They deliver unforgettable experiences with their massive mobile LED screens and audio system that they can bring to your location. If it's a company event, a special occasion that you're planning, a gaming party, check out colossalproductions.com. We continue the conversation and invite you to be part of it. We're halfway home with 90 minutes to go. 865-656-9900 if you'd like to join us. VFL and former Tennessee wide receiver Jason Swain is here. I'm Josh Ward. We are presented by Junk Be Gone on Josh and Swain. This is Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us. 865-656-9900 to connect. Swain, I think last segment, Austin Price, the word he used was trending, as Tennessee is courting Tyler Lundblade. He's been on campus the last, almost 48 hours.
That's what we need. We need a shooter. And, I've said on this program, Rick Barnes is so good with defense. We've seen this program be one of the top 5, top 10 best defense teams in the country. And, this year was no different. Even though Tennessee wasn't in the top 5 or 10, but they sure played like it and outplayed Iowa State, who was in the top 10. But we keep hitting our head on the wall because we're unable to make shots. And so we've seen Rick Barnes improve the jump shot of many players, their shooting form. We saw that in Rick Barnes' first couple of years with Kevin Punter. So he's capable of doing that. How about we go recruit better shooters and then teach them how to play better defense? And you saw Dalton Connect come here because he wanted to be an all-around better player. Defense wasn't his forte, but that team still was good because everybody else was good defensively. And so how you put this roster together is very important because defense still has to be a priority, but you got to get guys who can shoot the basketball too. And this dude can shoot the basketball.
Better than 40% from 3 the last 2 seasons. He was the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year at Belmont, averaged 15.5 points a game. And you want to get to the free throw line, you want to knock him down. And boy, did he do that this past season. A little better than 93% at the free throw line. Didn't shoot as many the year before, but 94% the season before. He is automatic at the free throw line, and he is terrific. Now, he'll face tougher competition, obviously, in the SEC. He'll have better teammates around him as well if he were to choose Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, he'll have to do a really good job of moving without the basketball.
Right.
And be in great shape, not shy away from taking shots. I mean, we've recruited guys that were supposed to be shooters, and they didn't take shots when they're supposed to, or they didn't move off screens like they were supposed to get open. And so he has to be really good at that. Man, you here to do one job, bro. That's put the ball in the basket and shoot it. And his free throw percentage, man, he can bring up the team average with that. I mean, hey, we had some players on our football team that didn't do anything on Saturdays, but they did bring up the team GPA.
They could use that free throw percentage to go back up a little bit.
Correct. Yeah, that'd be a big boost.
That was one of the problems this past season.
Yeah, that'll be a big boost right there. So, man, now you go out and get yourself a point guard, which I don't think Tennessee's going to have a problem finding. Like, look at what Zakai Ziegler did. Look at what Jacoby Gillespie did. Those 2 guys, I think, will help Tennessee get the next good one. So I'm not worried about that. Post player, that's going to be something to monitor and watch for, because what type of post player do you need? Are you trying to get a stretch forward that can shoot it? Or are you trying to get another rim protector, even though Kay Phillips has the athleticism to be able to do that, and he did that before he missed this season with the shoulder injury. Like, what type of big man will Tennessee go after? That's intriguing to me.
Some of the early buzz that I've seen with Sumto Surreal from Georgia, who we talked about, is Arkansas.
Yeah,
Arkansas is a player with John Calipari.
Yeah. That's the buzz. And Calipari, he has been the freshman master, going out and getting young players. And so if he finds the right mix, I mean, Arkansas could make another run. I think what they ran into versus Arizona is going to make him maybe tweak a little bit of his approach to get some older players rather than just a bunch of freshmen, because Arizona is comprised of older players. They do got Koa Pete, who's a freshman, but everybody else experienced grown men.
So wheels are in motion. Tennessee would also love to go ahead and wrap up one of their top targets. If you can get Lundblade in before the portal actually opens for everybody else, that's a good first step.
How can you do that? How can you get him in if the portal's not open?
Well, he's a grad transfer. That's why he's on his visit, because it doesn't apply to him.
So he can announce and not even hit the portal.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know who, but maybe a couple people. They were taking photos. He was at the baseball game last night, so you saw Rick Barnes and some staff members just hanging out with Tyler there behind the wall in at Lindsey Nelson Stadium.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Now Rick just chills, man.
Yeah.
I've seen Rick out and about a couple times, just in beard and like just out and about. I haven't seen him in Farragut though, but I have seen him out in beard a couple times at the local hardware store.
Is he just taking care of some
I
some
guess.
odds and ends that he needs to get taken care of at the house?
I guess
Good.
so. I guess so.
Hey,
I guess he said, "Hey, I'm
that
not
drawer handle's not going to fix itself.
I'm not paying somebody else to do it. I'm gonna do it myself." So, I guess so.
By the way, you both are invited out anytime. You and Rick Barnes, anytime you want to come out to Farragut, come on out.
It's too far for Rick, man. Rick lives in the gym, literally. So
He does.
he needs to be
I've
close.
got a hoop in the driveway. We'll get him a table. He can set up and take care of what he needs to.
Yeah, I think he'd probably be a little bit more productive inside of the facilities over there on campus.
I lowered the goal the other day, was just jamming on the Wardos.
Josh, that's not nice.
I went Chris Lofton. Watch your head.
You and Chris Lofton.
That's his line with Mike Keith. Watch your head, Mike.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like Chris Lofton as far as like his playing days, dunking on people. That's why I
He
was
could
like,
have. He just chose not to. He decided to hang out at the 3-point.
well, 3 is more than
Remove.
2, so
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's a math man.
yeah. he was
Chris
like-
Lofton.
Yeah, correct. He was helping his team win.
Yep. Hey, kudos to those guys, by the way. The first season, they had to replace some legends in Bob and Bert and what they did with Tennessee basketball. So Mike Keith stepping in, Chris Lofton, Steve Hamer, and our guy John Wilkerson. Great first season, calling a fun season of Tennessee basketball to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, man. Big fan of all those guys. They do a great job, and Chris, you can't get better than Chris Lofton as a person. Diving into the media is something that's is new for him, but he's gonna be great with whatever he does because that's just who he is. And then you know how I feel about Hamer, man. That's my guy right there. He does a great job. Anytime he's on SEC Network, he does a great job for the athletic program and university. And then the GOAT, John Wilkerson.
Yeah, in the text box, love the rim tamer, Steve Hamer. Absolutely. We continue the conversation. We'll talk some more football as well. 865-656-9900 to be part of the show on Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us on Josh and Swain. Final segment of hour number 2. We'll be with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. 865-656-9900 if you would like to join us. Swain, news involving VFL.
Hey!
Fowler of ESPN with the report that Hendon Hooker is joining the Tennessee Titans.
Tighten up, tighten up, tighten up. They should have did this a couple of years ago, but it's okay. What does that mean for? Is he third? Is he gonna be third? I guess he's gonna be third behind Will Levis. That's awkward.
Yeah, I don't know what the future is there. I don't know. Hendon was let go by the Lions, spent part of this past season with the
Panthers.
Carolina Panthers, but I have a hard time believing Levis is a part of their future. Could be wrong there.
Yeah, hard for me to believe that he's gonna remain a backup there after being drafted high in the draft when he first came out of Kentucky. So, listen, maybe he does, and he's want to stick with it, and he's number 2 guy, and Hendon's the number 3 guy. But this is great, man. Hendon is loved in this state.
Well, and they do have another guy who is an option there at number 2. He is formerly your guy, Mitchell Trubisky, was signed by the Titans.
Oh,
so
yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah, so they do have Trubisky.
That's Dayball's guy. So he's number 2. That means Will Levis is out.
Would be my guess.
That's what that means. It has to mean that. That wouldn't make any sense to bring Hendon in to be the 4th quarterback.
I don't often make suggestions based on PR, but I wouldn't suggest having Levis and Hendon go through a full August battle for the QB3 job and then choosing Levis. That's just an unnecessary way to anger fans who might prefer Hendon. One, most of the fans probably don't like Levis at this point anyway, whether you're connected to the University of Tennessee or not. But for sure, UT fans who also pull for the Titans would rather see Hendon come in than Will Levis.
Yeah, don't mess with Hendon. No, don't mess with Hendon now. So,
but good opportunity for him. He gets to go to Nashville, join the Titans organization. So all the best to Hendon with that news earlier today. You're right, fans. They wanted him over Levis. I don't even know if that would have been the right choice, seeing how things have played out. But
no,
I do know the fans' choice in the Hendon versus Will Levis conversation.
I mean, it happened the way it's supposed to happen. The thing, though, for both quarterbacks, and more so Hendon than Will Levis, is, hey, man, I don't know how many more opportunities you're going to get. Mm-hmm. So you got to make the best of this one. You got to put your best foot forward because Lions, Panthers, now with the Titans. Was there a short stint with the Jets too? Maybe I'm thinking somebody else, but the point remains: opportunities are running out for those 2 guys. So they got to make sure that they do a good job. Learn from the mistakes and the small failures earlier in your career, and make sure that you stick. Look at Sam Darnold. Look at Geno Smith. Look at guys who didn't come out and do a great job the first couple of years, but they learned, they stuck with it, and they are serious backups or starting quarterbacks in the NFL. So Hendon can still do it. We're rooting for him.
Yeah, and you're right. He finished the season. He was with Carolina and on the practice squad, was released in November. In mid-December, signed to the Jets practice squad, and he was active for the final game of the season against Buffalo.
What was the first part of that sentence you say? What was the first part of that sentence? I didn't hear you.
You provided accurate information.
Oh, okay. I thought you said something else. Thank you, Josh.
Also known as, yes, Swain, you were right.
I don't hear much, man, so I just wanted to make sure that you repeat.
Allow me to correct myself. Yes, we were correct here on Josh and Swain.
We fence. That's right.
We run the We Fence at all times on Josh and Swain, and we always invite you to be part of the show. Thanks for hanging out with us. Join us at 865-656-9900 with another hour to go, presented by Junk Begon right here on Josh and Swain. This is Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us as we continue the conversation for one more hour. 865-656-9900 if you'd like to be part of it. Jason Swain is here, VFL, former Tennessee wide receiver. I'm Josh Ward. We've talked some football this afternoon, including last hour with Braden Gall of 440 Sports. More on the NFL draft with Braden. Then after that, Austin Price joined us from VolQuest. A couple of messages that came in during or following that conversation, Swain. Matt said, did I hear him say Omar Norman Lott? That is a name that has come up in some kind of comparison with Xavier Gillum, the transfer from Penn State, who is now with the Tennessee Volunteers to help on the interior of the defensive line. A pretty big need for Tennessee to shore up this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, there's been conversations about the best portal additions in the athletic department, especially when you look at what Jacoby Gillespie just did for the Vols this past season. When you have that conversation and it carries over to other sports, you got to throw in Omar Norman Lott. You have to. He is a top 10 portal addition in the entire athletic department. Football, you throw him up there. He ain't above Hendon, but you throw him up there pretty high. This dude was a second-round pick at the NFL. Played significant snaps early for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was a problem for opposing offensive linemen when he was here at Tennessee. Like, I remember that NC State game, and I'm not trying to say NC State is a juggernaut or anything, because you know how I feel about what they be doing over there. But I remember the first possession, and they're moving the ball. And Omar Norman Lott said, you know what, that's enough. I've had enough. It was the first possession of the game for NC State. Around the 35-yard line, our 35-yard line, Omar said that's enough and wrecked the whole drive. And that was it. He did that all season long. So he's one of the coolest dudes ever, man. You know, he's a Cali dude, so you know, he doesn't take himself too seriously. He's a cool dude. But if Xavier Gillum is anywhere close to that, whoo, what a steal in the portal.
Especially with that question mark. What are they going to do on the interior? We've talked about young guys, but yeah, if Gillum can make that kind of impact, it would be, you're right, a steal, in that Norman Lott was not talked about as this huge name coming in. Now he got to Tennessee and a lot of people said, hey, watch out for that guy. That's actually kind of similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
That there was very little attention on the addition itself of Omar Norman Lott. Maybe a little more on Gillum just because of the Penn State connection and the talk of, okay, can you get some guys in that know this system and have played for Jim Knowles? So from that standpoint, but if you kind of zoom out and you look around the nation, I don't think there was much talk about, hey, all these teams have to go get Xavier Gillum. So if he is that kind of impact player for Tennessee, that's at least one really good news item for Tennessee's defense.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. And it starts up front. I mean, it starts in the interior. Yeah. It makes it a whole lot easier for your defensive ends, your rushers. It makes it a whole lot easier for your linebackers, keeping them clean, allow them to scrape and make plays. And then, of course, it makes it a lot easier on the secondary when the quarterback is being pressured, because you have done a great job of stopping the run and making the offense predictable.
D sent in a message in the text box, 865-656-9900, if you would like to do the same. Indiana football, grown adults. Arizona basketball, Michigan basketball, grown men. Yep. There is a trend there.
Yep. Sorry. And there's a place for freshmen, but it's not a place for the Fab Five. Those days are over. There's not a place for multiple freshmen being counted on to be, major contributors. And we saw this. We saw this when San Diego State played for a national championship versus UConn a couple of years ago. I mean, that team was full of just older dudes. We've seen this in basketball for so long. And what Indiana did was show us in football with a bunch of players who were not recruited by top Big Ten teams and top SEC teams. Their coach took guys who loved the game, who was smart, who were disciplined, and they develop those individual players into really good players that help the team win a championship. But experience matters. Experience counts.
Now we have this question. This is from Hub.
All right, Hub.
The question is this. Honestly, how bad is Lady Vols basketball going to be? Probably asking with the news of the Paldo twins, the latest that plan to enter the transfer portal. That's 6 players from the team that have made that intention known. We'll see if anybody else does. You, of course, have some players that leave through graduation or eligibility being up. There has been an assistant coach change. We'll see, but the pressure is on, and Kim Caldwell has a big task. Now, we also had a question. Hey, did the female basketball player who's dunking in the McDonald's game choose Tennessee? Yes, that is Olivia Edwards, and that is one of the first responses you're going to come up with of, hey, why should fans feel optimistic? Because she could be a program changer, but it's got to be more than just her.
Well, as far as Olivia Edwards, I just wonder with Gabe Lazo going to LSU, I remember seeing, photos of Gabe and Olivia Edwards and how much he put into recruiting her. Is the relationship stronger with Gabe or the relationship stronger with Kim Caldwell in Tennessee? But all signs looks like it points to her still, being a volunteer. And so that's everything. I don't think this team is going to be bad next year. I don't. If you're Kim Caldwell and you've won at a high level all of your coaching career, and last year, her first year, was really the first time you haven't really won to the point what you're used to. And then this season, oh my gosh, you had problems with your assistant coaches. You got problems with your players. You were not where you need to be as a head coach. It was a complete dumpster. You had players quitting. It's time to reflect. And she's someone who was honest, and she was criticized for being too honest. And I kind of like it. There's some things you don't want to say, but I like the fact that she's honest, because if she's willing to be honest about herself in a post-game press conference, she's going to be honest with herself behind the scenes and look at herself in the mirror first and be willing to make changes and not be stubborn. And then also, she's going to get players who fit more what she wants to do. Shoot the basketball, sign up, have your intentions out in front. Like when you're recruiting a player, this is what we're going to expect of you. Don't bring them in and then try to have them play a different role. No, make the intentions known. Make sure you spend time with them, understand their personality, make sure it's the right fit, and then give them a bag and get them to come in here and do what they're paid to do. So I can't sit here and go, well, they're going to be bad next year. I don't think they're going to be bad next year. The question is, will they be good enough? Will they be good enough? I don't think they'll be bad.
Yeah, because my guess is they'll find some talent to come in where they should not be bad, or at least as bad as this past season. Will they be good enough? Will they get back to a level that fans will approve of? That I don't have any idea of. And
I don't know.
If you don't have confidence, it's easy to understand why.
And basketball is different from football. You bring in about 4 or 5 girls, it changes everything. It takes less to change everything in basketball versus football. The football, it takes a little bit. It's a little bit longer. Now, with the transfer portal, you could technically have a brand new team like LSU is going to have, but like basketball is extremely more forgiving when it comes to coming off a bad season, trying to have a better season the next. I think Kim Caldwell will definitely do that because she's going to do a better job of talent evaluation and team construction.
Yeah, that has to happen, because you're right. If you don't either evaluate right, meaning find the right players to come in, or if you don't have the right leadership in place to then manage that, this past season is what happens. Look at Kansas State men's basketball. They spent and found players that had succeeded elsewhere. It did not work at Kansas State. Coaches fired midseason. Kentucky men's basketball. They went out and found a lot of talent, spent a ton of money on it. And their season wasn't a disaster. It was nowhere near what Kentucky men's basketball expects. Tennessee Lady Vols basketball, they found talent. They had a talented roster without question, even after Ruby Whitehorn's no longer with the team. But they were nowhere near on the court what they were supposed to be by the Lady Vols standard.
Yeah, man. Hey, Sometimes you need to get your ego hit and your
Yeah.
ego bruised a little bit. I think for Kim Caldwell, who comes across very confident, which you need to be. I remember her intro press conference, like very confident. People loved it, right? It the confidence came out of her pores. Well, when you're losing and you still have that same type of aura, it may have rubbed some people the wrong way. It didn't rub me the wrong way. It made me realize that she's going to look at herself in the mirror and she's going to make the changes. Or if she doesn't, she's not going to be here. I mean, it's really that simple. It's really cut and dry.
Hey, by the way, getting things turned around, San Francisco Giants have gone back to back. They've won 2 straight against the division rival San Diego Padres. So things a little bit better. They had a big celebration, I think, after the first win for Tony Vitello. So happier times for the Giants.
Read the room, Josh. Read the room.
We were talking about turning things around.
No, yeah, but I ain't trying to talk about that. After the baseball team losing the way they lost this past weekend, and we got to play LSU this weekend, Mississippi State next week. I don't want to be talking about Tony Vitello.
You didn't want that update?
All you do is make us miss him more. Read the room, Josh. Read the room, man. Thanks a lot, Josh. Now we miss him more.
Hey, throw on your Giants Vols cap and cheer them on.
Well, I don't own that.
You don't have one of those?
No, I'm not planning on owning one of those, buddy.
Okay.
No. I would never put another team's logo on a hat with a power T on it. Never, sir. I don't care if it's Braves night, Vol night. No. Power T, and that's it. Just like you eat your hot dogs, that's how I want my Tennessee hat. No other logos. No condiments, okay, on my hat. Just the Power T.
Yeah, power T's all you need. Dog and bun, same deal.
That's it. There you go.
All right. I'll do a better job of reading the room moving forward. Hey, just like we were talking about, sometimes you gotta reevaluate. You gotta look inward.
Man, you and Kim Caldwell, y'all got some work to do, buddy.
I will do better. I will at least try moving forward. We will work to get your calls and texts in at 865-656-9900. Thanks for being with us as we continue on this Wednesday afternoon on Josh and Swain. This is Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us. During hour number 2, we talked to Braden Gall of 440 Sports and Austin Price. You can go back and check out those conversations anywhere you get your podcasts, like Apple and Spotify, as well as the podcast section of the WNML app. So you can always go back and listen to us on demand anytime. Also, thanks to Lori Frill and Nathan Woods. They joined us during hour number 1 from Cancer Support Community East Tennessee. Very important organization that has a great event coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow. It's going to be at Top Golf. You can reserve a bay for the event. It's a fundraising event, so it's going to be from 2 to 5, April 16th. If you'd like to take some coworkers, put the team together, have some fun, prizes will be available, and also support Cancer Support Community East Tennessee. You can call to get that bay reserved, 865-546-4661. You can also go online to learn more, cancersupportet.org, cancersupportet.org, 2 weeks from tomorrow at Top Golf to help benefit Cancer Support Community East Tennessee. We had a question in the text box, Swain. Will you be there for the event providing golf tips?
I will. Short and sweet.
What's the number one lesson you would provide there?
Well, people pay thousands of dollars to go to a golf expert and try to improve their game. Some have said that the golf experts say the same thing that I say. Not saying that makes me an expert, just a coincidence, I would assume. But it's all in the hips. This is what they say. This is what they say, Josh. I didn't follow them, but it's all in the hips. That's it.
I think that's good advice. Yep. What do coaches often say? See a lot, see a little, but if you see a little, you can see a lot. I think keeping it simple right there. It's all in the hips. Good lesson from Jason Swain.
Did Trent Differ say that? Who said that?
I think that's a common coach saying. It's about focus instead of worrying about all these different things. Narrow your focus. Task at hand.
Josh, you can't make the putt if you miss it.
Well, I can prove that that's true based on my own golfing experience. 865-656-9900 if you would like to be part of the show. We got some day baseball going on as well. It's a beautiful time of year. We're wrapping up the college basketball season. We'll have postseason in the NHL and NBA, but now baseball getting going. We'll have a fun stretch run in college baseball. Important series coming up for Tennessee against LSU this weekend. But we got sports all over the place. Masters right around the corner in golf as well. So you get to the warm weather season, a lot to look forward to. Plus, Swain, we have a week and a half to go. Scrimmage tomorrow for Tennessee football ahead of the orange and white game coming up a week from Saturday.
Yeah, here for it, man. Here for it. Big day for George McIntyre for sure. It's the last opportunity to go 11-11 before the fans see you. And when the fans see you, they're going to have their own opinion all summer long about who should be the starter, who should be the guy. And unless you are really good at blocking out all that noise and not looking at it, then you're going to see it. And so this is really the last opportunity for George McIntyre, for Faison Brandon, before you go out there, orange and white weekend. You're going to have thousands of people in the stands, and they'll be critiquing and breaking down your game. You know how the Twitter coaches are.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be breaking it down and telling Josh Heupel who he should name the starter in May. So just a good opportunity for these guys tomorrow. And there is something to be said about playing under the lights. I think that's the really good thing about the orange and white game. Really good thing about what Butch Jones did when he had open scrimmage, open practice. And it was 30,000 people that came. He was kneeling under the lights. And it was so cool. Recruits, we did a good job with them. But it really gave the coaches an opportunity to see, all right, the lights are on, the lights are bright. Who's going to make plays? because it's easy to make plays in practice and routes versus air, 7-on-7 in a control setting, but the lights are on. This is a close thing to a real game. Who's going to elevate their game and perform in crunch time situations? So the Orange and White weekend will be the closest thing to that until we actually play this fall.
Yeah, put them under some stress. See how they respond.
I'm all for it. But you know how coaches are, man. They don't want to put them under too much stress while everybody is watching.
Yeah, there's that as well. I saw this from Stephen Lassen of Athlon. Top 10 impact coordinator hires in the SEC. Number 1, Jim Knowles, Tennessee's defense coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, it's hands down number 1. I mean,
Top 5, Jim Knowles, number 1. Buster Faulkner, the offensive coordinator at Florida, comes in from Georgia Tech. Kendall Briles, offensive coordinator at South Carolina. Will Muschamp, who is the new defense coordinator at Texas. And then Zach Arnett, he is the new DC at Mississippi State, where he was prior. Remember, he was there as the head coach for a season after the passing of Mike Leach. And he is back in Mississippi State now as the defensive coordinator.
Man, that's a good list right there.
It's pretty good.
Like
Charlie Weiss Jr., number 6 at LSU, by the way.
Yeah, Charlie deserves to be down there. I mean, he's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but like, he is not as valuable to LSU as the ones that you name. Like Summerall, he's a defensive guy, and so usually those defensive guys get the stigma. Oh, they're gonna just run it, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And now Buster Faulkner he's gonna open it up, man. He turned down Georgia, not too long ago. So they got to be multiple. They got to air it out. They got to play a certain brand of football that is going to put points on the board and get recruits. So that's huge for Summerall. And then for Beamer, bringing in Kendall Briles, a known productive offensive coordinator, because they need it with Lenore Sellers not having a great year last year. He needs to bounce back one this year. And then, I mean, Jim Knowles, nothing needs to be said about that one. Arnett, that's a good one too, because you got Jeff Lebby. I mean, I think the Arnett to Mississippi State move is like the Jim Knowles to Tennessee move, but like the diet version.
Because it's Mississippi State.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, that's exactly why.
Tennessee will go up against Kendall Briles when Tennessee goes to South Carolina. Will Muschamp will come to Knoxville for the season opener. SEC opener, excuse me.
I wasn't finished. I forgot to say something.
Oh.
With all due respect.
Thank you.
Yeah, my bad.
Thank you.
My bad. All due respect.
Now they can't be upset?
No reason to be upset. Yeah. But, yeah, Will Muschamp, whew.
That Texas game is going to be a big game.
Man, that is going to be something. That is going to be a coaching Royal Rumble right there. You got Will Muschamp and Sarkisian. You got Jim Knowles versus Halsley / Heupel. And somebody going to get exposed. There's talent on both sides. Somebody's going to get exposed out of those 4 coordinators.
Does the winner of this game get Marshall Manning? How's that work?
No. What connections does Marshall Manning have to Texas?
His cousin. It's the starting quarterback.
Did his cousin change his diapers when he was a baby? did his cousin put food on the table? Huh? Did his cousin put shelter and have him safe? Huh? Did Arch do that for him? No, that was Peyton. That was Daddy.
That was father,
Daddy did that. And Daddy went to Tennessee.
Okay, so the winner doesn't get Marshall unless that winner's Tennessee.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. This is a Tennessee-Virginia battle. In my world. You know what? Bowman went to Virginia.
Oh, I don't even know if I knew that. That's where Ashley went?
Yeah, I think because he had a Virginia T-shirt on when he was working out over there Baylor. People were like, wait a minute.
All right, we'll continue the conversation. 865-656-9900. How about this? We'll end the segment with this one. This is good to keep in mind. This is from Mike. We were talking about sayings and having the right mindset. If it weren't for the optimist, the pessimist would never know how much happiness he's not experiencing.
There you go.
Look to the optimist, Swain.
I like it. Yeah. Ashley Manning graduated at the University of Virginia, 1997. So how about that?
Okay. Virginia versus Tennessee. The battle is on over the next 4 years for Marshall Manning. 865-656-9900. We have an attaboy to hand out. Also, a scout's take on Jermod McCoy's big day yesterday at Tennessee. A fantastic day, as you'll hear it described from his pro day. We still have another 30 minutes to go. Thank you for being with us. We are presented by Junk Be Gone on Josh and Swain. 855-699-100 if you would like to join us. And Matt Miller is a draft analyst and insider for ESPN. He's on social media. He's been well known for a long time at seeing Jermod McCoy work out.
Yeah, it is a great pro day performance, 4.38, to show the explosion in the vertical and broad jump as well. And then to get out there and do positional drills, McCoy did everything today. And there was some question even this morning from NFL scouts, what would he actually do after sitting out at the combine? So this is a fantastic day for him to remind people with some late buzz that he was the top corner in this class and would have been, I think, the top corner in last year's class had he been draft eligible then. So obviously the ACL injury in January was unfortunate, but what a way to rebound. And again, late buzz is better than early buzz. To remind general managers about 20 days before the NFL draft who you are, that you're healthy, I think that momentum is really going to help him out.
That was Matt Miller on ESPN yesterday reacting to news of Jermod McCoy's pro day performance. Swain, as you mentioned, a good day for Jermod, a good day for Tennessee.
Yeah, great day for Tennessee. Thinking long term. Well, of course, you wanted him to play last year, but thinking long term. Like, when's the last time Tennessee had a corner? I mean, we talked about the last time Tennessee had a linebacker drafted high. When is the last time Tennessee had a corner? I mean, that's the missing piece here with this program is we've had multiple 1,000-yard receivers. We've had a Blitnikoff. We had, Hendon Hooker. You can have all these things, but you still got to cover those other receivers on the other side. And you can spend money on defensive line, but you got to be willing to spend. And with Jermod McCoy, got a heck of a bargain with him coming out of Oregon State. But hopefully McCoy can be the reason why we get our next great either transfer or high school player that we can play on the island. Because everyone is going RPO game. And if you don't have a guy who can straight up cover man-to-man, RPOs will eat you up. Because the read, whether to pass or to give the ball to the running back, these decisions are made so fast that a really good pass rush can't get there quick enough. If you have a really good defensive line, a really good pass rush, but the secondary is suspect, RPO game can still beat them. But if you have a corner that can cover that slant route, most times RPO route is a slant route because it's a quick throw. It's an easy throw. And you're normally reading a linebacker that's in that zone anyways, whether you're going to give it or pull it and throw it. But if you got a guy who can cover that in-breaking route, man, it does so much for your pass rush. So hopefully this can help us get the next great player. But think about how good that 2024 defense was. It wasn't just the front. Jermod McCoy is a big reason for that too.
Yes, Wayne, when you think about corners from Tennessee in the draft, you had Alontae Taylor who went, was he a second-round pick? Second-round pick with the Saints.
Yeah, but he played safety, and he was never like the number one dude where everyone was talking about and everyone knew that he was CB1.
Yeah, and you had another guy that could move around, play different positions, and Rashawn Golden. He was a third-round pick with the Carolina Panthers, and then Cam Sutton was a third-round pick with the Steelers. And I'm trying to go back through. So I think we might be going back to your draft class, Jonathan Wade, the previous corner.
Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy?
That's crazy. That was almost 20 years ago. And
that's insane.
Yeah. So
that can
and there are a number of positions we've talked about. It will be 10 years next year. The last time Tennessee had a linebacker drafted. That's wild. Knowing the history of that position at the University of Tennessee, but the last linebacker drafted from Tennessee is Jalen Reeves-Maybin in the 2017 class.
Yeah, I'm excited about what Tennessee can do at corner. This upcoming recruiting class, it might be quick, but the cornerback position should be better than it was the last 5 years because of what McCoy did here at Tennessee.
And Swain, the last corner 97 season, Terry Fair, the last cornerback from Tennessee taken in the first round.
That ain't gonna work.
28 years ago.
That's wild.
But they could have two. I mean, we'll see with Colton Hood. but they could have two. They'll have one. Jamad's, I think, locked it up. And they could
Stretch Armstrong right now. No, we got to need a couple more guys coming out, projected in the first, second round before they feel like 98.
You feel like moving on from this segment?
I love this segment.
Okay.
I love the content.
Looking forward. There are good things. Good things. Good day yesterday for Jamad McCoy. Other teammates as well, but for Tennessee, for Jamad, big showing. Good for him, getting back healthy as well. We come back.
12.
One more segment to go. And attaboy before. There. So we'll tell you more about what's happening with the Visit Knoxville Open, but we'll be at Dick's House of Sport tomorrow from 12 until 3.
What do you think Stalin's reaction will be if I say, hey, man, pretty good player, man, but I think I can give you some advice that can help your game go to the next level. It's all in the hips. What do you think his reaction will be?
Well, I've met Scott. I don't know Scott, and there's no way he knows who I am. But what I know about Scott is that I think he's a learner. He loves to learn, loves to see how he can improve, and I think he would be happy to listen to your advice.
Okay, I'll fill it out. We'll see.
That's the right approach. Yeah.
I'm gonna read the room, man.
Yeah, they've got the simulator upstairs, so you can go show them all that you're talking about too.
No. We don't do all that. I'm more of the.
We can't find the ball. We can't confirm you hit it. So why don't you take another swing?
Oh, I thought you played the I'm Josh Ward card, and they were like, "Oh, okay, you get another shot."
Just sign yourself. Attaboy.
Swain, we go to Elrena, Oklahoma for this story. This is a place I'd never heard of, but love hearing about this story. And we've talked about, hey, social media can deliver positivity, and this is a case where that happened. So the story involves a 3-year-old boy. His name is Hudson. He's affectionately known as Huddy. His mom, Ashlyn, took Huddy to McDonald's there in El Reno. They stopped in for breakfast, hadn't planned to. He never met before, did not know, but wanted him to have some company. And the mom took video, shared a little bit on TikTok of, hey, look at my son. He wanted to make this gentleman's day, make his morning, and it spread like you wouldn't believe. Millions of views, and a lot of people were happy to see Huddy do something for somebody else.
Man, we can learn so much from young people. We really can, man. Wow, that's awesome. Cause like,
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's so cool. Cause I mean, how many of us grown folks out here will just randomly walk up to someone who's sitting by themselves and strike up a conversation and sit with someone? I love that story. I love that story.
That's a good one. So we hand out our attaboy to Hudson today, a 3-year-old who just wanted to give another gentleman some company. We hand out attaboys and attagirls. We find the kindness in that story. We find the positivity for you each day, and we are more than happy to share it with you here on Josh and Swain. Swain, that does it for today's show. We did not get tricked as far as I'm aware as well. It's April Fool's Day. We made it all the way through 3 hours of a show without getting tricked by some false story online that tries to get some radio host to say something that's not right. We do congratulate our very own Joel Silverberg, though, because I saw on the Knoxville Ice Bears official Facebook page that they have signed Director of Broadcasting Joel Silverberg to a defenseman contract for the remainder of the season. So our fine producer and the SPHL Broadcaster of the Year, Joel, congratulations to you, because I assume that news is 100% accurate.
Yeah, wouldn't expect anything less. I'm getting signed out of position, but yeah, playoffs